I'm right, aren't I? Asked Peter Smith. Your real name is Jenny Monroe.
Quinn, still reeling from shock from being recognized, had dropped to her knees in the hospital chapel to wipe up the coffee she had spilled when Peter had made his initial proclamation. How could you? She began, realizing that she needed to phrase her next words very carefully. If Peter knew who she really was before she'd changed her name to Quinn Murphy, everything she had worked towards since moving to New York City could be undone. Why would you think something like that? Asked Quinn, finally. Peter kneeled down next to Quinn and put a hand on her wrist.
Look, he said gently. I don't care what your name is. I just want my son to be happy. He got taken in by one con artist, and I don't want it to happen again. That's all.
Peter took a breath and continued, softening a bit now that he could see that the young doctor in front of him was upset.
And I knew your father, Miss Monroe. Or should I say, Dr. Murphy. We were friends. He was a magnificent guy. Damn shamed what happened to him. With both him and your mother.
You knew my parents? Quinn said, shaking and unable to contain her feelings anymore.
Sure I did, answered Peter. We did business. We played golf. They'd sit us at the same table at galas sometimes. They were honest, hard-working folks who honestly came by their fortune. That's why it was so awful when it all went upside down. I wanted to help you and your brother, but you both disappeared. You were just gone. Until I saw you at my dinner table the other night, that is.
I don't know what to say, said Quinn breathlessly. It was a lot to take in.
It's a lot, I know. But I just have one question. Does my son know? Have you told Fred?
Quinn knew that this moment was an incredibly important one. Peter knew her secret and could expose her at any time. But Peter had also been friends with her parents and seemed like a compassionate man. She could lie, but he could easily find out. And Quinn didn't think she wanted to make an enemy of someone like Peter Smith, the founder of Rex Corp. Her only option here was to allow herself to become vulnerable. She had to trust Peter. No. I'm sorry, Peter, but I haven't, she said sheepishly. I'm not proud of it. Perhaps I will one day, but I have my reasons. You have to believe that. I don't mean you or your son any harm. I swear on my parents' grave. I'm not here to take advantage of your family. Peter looked across and saw the panic in Quinn's eyes. Logic suggested to him that she had told him the truth. Why would she lie about keeping secrets from his son? No, he thought. She could have just lied, but she chose not to. And that points toward the same kind of character her parents had. Quinn stood up, having finished wiping up the coffee with her sweater sleeve. She'd have to wash it later, but that didn't matter right now. Peter also stood and placed his hand on Quinn's shoulder.
Quinn, Jenny, like I said, I don't care what your name is. I'm sure you wouldn't do something as drastic as changing your entire identity unless you had no other choice. I can only imagine some of the reasons a young woman might have for doing that. And all I can say is, I'm sorry.
Quinn's lower lip trembled. She could not believe Peter's kindness. She had chosen to tell the truth, and it had been the right decision.
In honor of Sam and Lila, who Marcy and I adored, I will keep your secret. You can count on me. All I ask is that you be good to my son. If a situation presents where it makes sense to explain this to him, I hope you will. We all have secrets, Quinn, but I'm betting that yours would not hurt anyone. You hardly seem like that kind of a girl. If this were about Fred's money, you certainly would not have wiped up spilled coffee with an Angora sweater.
Peter's face broke out into a playful grin. I don't know how to thank you, Peter. This was a shock. I wasn't prepared to have anyone recognize me. But I have a strange feeling that I can trust you too. You're the first person I've encountered who knew my parents. And I can't tell you how much that means to me. What I mean to say is, thank you.
Don't mention it,
He said, dipping his chin with an air of chivalry.
I mean it. Really. Don't mention it.
Both Quinn and Peter laughed as they left the chapel together.
Hi, I am Quinn. Want to know my battle? Then download the Pocket FM app and listen to the exciting episodes of A Mother's Battle now.